Get ready with me for Christmas Eve dinner while I unpack some childhood trauma. Christmas edition. So when I was little, I was extremely hyperactive. I had really bad ADHD. Because of this, it was really difficult for me to sit still during things like church or, say, the ballet. Every year, our family would go to see the Nutcracker. It was a tradition. I had two older sisters that were 5 and 6 years older than me, so quite a gap. And they were not only older than me, they were also like insanely well-behaved children. And then there was me, and I was kind of a terror, honestly. It was probably very miserable to try and sit through something like the Nutcracker with me. Well, one year we came home from the Nutcracker to find my oldest sister's room all like sparkling clean, and the lighting was all like dim and glowy, and the Nutcracker soundtrack was playing gently in the background, and tucked neatly in her bed was a Nutcracker. A beautiful Nutcracker at that. And I still to this day recall how magical I thought it was. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. So we were all so excited about this. We're flipping out. We couldn't figure out where it came from and what had happened. And my mom told us that Santa had brought Priscilla a Nutcracker because she had behaved at the ballet. I was probably around 5 at this time, and she was probably around 12, 11 or 12. This was the definition of Christmas magic and like a Christmas miracle. And I remember looking up to her and thinking she was so cool for being able to sit still during the ballet. Like I wanted it. I wanted to sit still during the ballet, but it was just impossible for me. So our home was always beautifully decorated at Christmas, and one of the like main centerpieces of the Christmas decor was the mantle above the fireplace. And that is where my mom displayed her Nutcracker collection. I would beg my mom to let me get a closer look at these Nutcrackers. So every few days she would bring a couple of them down, and I could gently hold them and pretend I was Clara and pretend they were a baby. This was Christmas to me. It was like the best part of the Christmas season. And now my older sister had one showcased up on the mantle, and I just thought it was so special. Well, we got home from the Nutcracker the next year, and the same thing had happened for my other sister, with the glowy lighting and the perfectly clean room and the Nutcracker playing in the background and the nice and tidy bed with the Nutcracker all tucked in, a brand new Nutcracker with a bow. I was flipping out. And in this moment, I realized, oh my gosh, this is a thing. This is a thing. My older sister got one, and then my other sister got one, and next year I'm gonna get one. This is happening. This happens. Santa brings a Nutcracker after you go to the Nutcracker, and I'm the next in line, and I'm gonna get a Nutcracker. I was beside myself. And my little friends would come over for play dates, and I would show them the Nutcrackers, and I'd say, that one's Priscilla's, and that one's Charlotte's, and next year I'm gonna get mine. The next year I was so excited to go to the Nutcracker. Normally I wasn't very excited about going to the ballet, but this year I was so excited because I knew we were gonna go to the ballet, and then we'd come home and I'd get my Nutcracker. So we went, and I wasn't perfect, but I tried really, really hard to behave. When we got home from the Nutcracker, I raced up to my room, and it was dark, and it was messy, and the bed was unmade, and there was no music, and there was no Nutcracker. And I was heartbroken. And I asked my mom, why didn't I get a Nutcracker? And she said, it's because I didn't behave well enough. I was so disappointed in myself. I was seriously wrecked that I didn't get a Nutcracker, and so angry that I couldn't behave like my sisters. So I tried again the next year, and again, I came home to a dark room and a cold bed and no Nutcracker, with the same explanation that Santa didn't think that I behaved well enough to get a Nutcracker. And this continued to happen until eventually the tradition died and we stopped going to see the Nutcracker at Christmas. One day when I was in my mid-teens, I pointed up at the mantle at the Nutcrackers, and I said to my mom, could I have that Nutcracker? Could that one be mine? And she casually looked up at it and said, sure. And I was so excited. I was over the moon that that was my Nutcracker. And I took that Nutcracker with me when I got married, and I decorated with it every single year, still to this day. And that was my special Nutcracker. And then a couple of years ago, I had this epiphany. I had this realization that that's not my Nutcracker. That wasn't for me. That's not my special Nutcracker that was laid in my bed special for me after the ballet. I never got the Nutcracker experience. That's just a holiday decoration that my mother casually relinquished upon my request. I was trying to make it happen for myself, and that's the best I could do. That's the best the experience was ever going to get for me. And that was a moment of real sadness for me. I realized how badly I needed to see a Nutcracker in my bed. Like, to this day, as a 45-year-old woman, to see a Nutcracker laying in my bed with the room all set and nice and magical, something in me would be so moved by that. And I love my mom, and I highly doubt she did this on purpose. We all make mistakes as parents. I'm sure my kids are gonna have Nutcracker stories of their own someday where I dropped the ball and I didn't realize it. But in that moment, I realized how deeply hurt I was by never getting a Nutcracker. Anyway, I told my friend the story, and this year she brought me my gift early, and she said that I needed to open it soon because it was time sensitive. And I opened it, and it was a Nutcracker. It was a beautiful designer Nutcracker. And I opened the card, and there were 2 tickets to the Nutcracker ballet. And she wrote, enjoy the ballet. I'm sure you'll behave. And of course I started bawling. It's the most beautiful Nutcracker I've ever seen. And after that, I told my kids about it. I told my kids about this nutcracker that my friend had brought me and the whole story behind it and how much it meant to me. And then Finn, my 16-year-old son, rallied his siblings together and they had Maggie whisk me off for a day of Christmas shopping last week so that he and his brothers could clean my room and make my bed and set the lighting and turn on the music because Finn said she needs to see a nutcracker in her bed. So I came home from an amazing day Christmas shopping with my daughter to find my sons in my room with the lighting low and magical and Christmas music playing in the background with a brand new nutcracker in my bed. And he was right. Even at the tender age of 45, I needed to see a nutcracker chosen and placed for me in my bed. I needed the validation that I deserved a nutcracker and that I'm good enough to receive a nutcracker. It's so embarrassing. These things that happen to us when we're little that affect us so much. I saw a TikTok recently where there were two women in this store and they were talking about the fact that every woman, whether they know it or not, has a Christmas motif. Something that they're drawn to when they're on the Christmas decoration aisle. And she was saying, I'm drawn to trees. And the other woman was drawn to snowmen. And that her mom was drawn to reindeer and that their sister was drawn to stockings or something or other. And I was thinking about it and I thought, man, I don't have a motif. I'm pretty traditional. I like red and green, but I don't have a Christmas motif. And then I went downstairs to look at my Christmas decorations just to check. And sure enough, there's a nutcracker on every single shelf. There are nutcrackers all over my Christmas tree. There's 2 nutcrackers on my mantle and the centerpiece for my Christmas table is a giant nutcracker. And then I realized that I've been buying myself nutcrackers all these years to try to prove to myself that I'm good enough to receive a nutcracker. It's been interesting to unpack and realize how much trauma I have over this stupid nutcracker. But it's not stupid. So this Christmas, I'm not buying another nutcracker. I'm not buying another nutcracker to prove anything. I'm not earning it. I'm not behaving for it. And I'm not waiting to be chosen for it. I already have 2. I have one that was chosen and placed gently in my bed for me by people who love me exactly as I am. I definitely realized something about the nutcracker that night as I stood in my bedroom surrounded by my children with the warm glow of the lights and the music. The nutcracker was never about behavior. It was about being seen. And in that moment, I was seen by the people who matter the most. So if you've ever felt like the magic skipped you, like everyone else got their moment or their reward, or even just that gentle softness, this is your reminder. You don't have to earn the nutcracker. You don't have to sit still. You don't have to be quieter or better or easier. You're already worthy exactly as you are of all the things and all the Christmas magic, especially now. Merry Christmas, you guys.
Your kids wanted to surprise you. On the tree. You've been so good this year. Christmas Eve will find me. You gotta go look at it. Go look at your nutcracker. Where the love